Just wanted to let you know before you started watching the video that this update has been shot over a few weeks due to some health issues and certain things I wanted to film not happening. So this might be a longer video and it may seem like it jumps around a lot, but that's because we did things on different days and it didn't follow one consecutive storyline. Also, I've got an Instagram if you want to follow that. That'll be Burns Hill Farm on Instagram. And we're going to try to put a Facebook page up here soon. And then I may start uploading these videos to Rumble too, just for fun, seeing if I can catch an emerging market. So check that out. But I'm going to let you go to the video. All right, welcome back to the farm. Today we are cleaning out this cattle shed. So originally, a long time ago, there were cattle on this property that used to roam around. This is where they stayed. But since the cows have been gone and this turned into a row cropping farm, it started accumulating some stuff. So we're gonna clean it out. That way we've got a place to put the sheep over the winter to kind of give them some shelter. But we gotta figure out what needs to go and what needs to stay. So that's what we're doing now. All right, 45 or so minutes in, I've been pulling some nails. We've got some direction on what we can keep, what we can get rid of, what needs to move. And from now, for the rest of the day, we're going to be loading up the males that we have over in that area and taking them to the sale barn. So I was unable to get a video of us loading them up again, but here we've got the males that we're selling at the sale barn. So I think we're just dropping them off today, but then they should get us a check in the mail for these males that we have got here. Back here on the farm, a day in December, it's cold again. The goat, or the sheep, actually got out from their old paddock. We had some torrential rain and some wind, so the netting fell down. Luckily they were up here in this area. We just brought them up to the area that we were gonna have. We got the shed all cleaned out, so that was kind of convenient. So today we're gonna be setting up a fence that goes around, down into the pond, and up this area. So this is where they'll be for the rest of winter. They'll have some area to graze, but then they'll also have the shelter from the shed in front of me here. So that's the plan for today. We've been setting up our fencing. It goes this way along our CRP that we've got here. It goes into that pond in two different places, so the goats will have some water to drink. And then it runs up a gravel road we have there. It'll go around that cattle shed, and then it'll come this way here and connect all over.
Can we hold something?
Yeah, you can. Well, actually.
Oh, here they come. They're good. They were ready to get out. There they go. Freedom. I'm going to try to see their boundaries. They usually run around a little bit to see how much space they have, and then they get to eating.
What's the wire on the ground over there? Oh. You can take some pictures.
Okay.
A little lighter. Oh. And so anyway, we went up and we started at the back. We had them all the way up that high, all the way along the whole time. Anyway, there was so much pressure, up pressure on the tongue because of all the weight we had.
So Mom and Grandpa are taking apart the rest of our temporary container, temporary fencing. We did put up this kind of like pieced together barrier to keep them out of the stuff that we've been storing on that side. So those are some old garage door panels that blew in, so they had to be replaced. And then these are some cedar boards from a deck that my dad and I deconstruct it and replace it. So try to use all that we've got, try to recycle as much as we can. I want to be as renewable as possible. We've got to cover up the back area here so the sheep don't get out that way. We've got some tin that we're going to patch that with. And then we're going to work on this bit here, putting up a cattle panel or something along those lines to keep the sheep off of that hay, because they will be grazing in this area. So everything is open season for them except for that area. All right, so we're gonna do the fond memory on the farm. Here's Grandpa. He's been on this property for a few years, so I'm sure he's got quite a few good ones.
And right here was one of our hog houses. We just didn't have enough places to put hogs. We had them stacked on top of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work all that good, to tell you the truth, but it worked.
Mm-hmm. So how many hogs do you think you had here at the apex?
Well, in the hog house over there, there's probably half a dozen pens, and they probably held 40 hogs apiece.
Wow.
So that's what is that, 240?
Quite a few, yeah.
And then this would probably hold probably almost a couple hundred, something like that.
Yeah, so probably
And
250 hogs, or you said probably 450 hogs.
Probably.
Wow, that's quite a few.
Yeah, and at one point we were buying hogs that were weighing up around 200 pounds. People were selling them too light, and they were taking a dock on them because they were too light.
Mm-hmm.
They needed them around 240 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So we would buy them. This was up at Mexico, Missouri. Buy them up there, haul them down here, put another 40, 50 pounds on them, and then had a deal made out with a packing company in Memphis, Tennessee, and they would pay the shipping down there from here down to there. So, and they paid the top of the market in St. Louis. We did that for several years, and then along came hog cholera, and I think that's pretty much what stopped us from doing that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
But that was pretty good.
Yeah. So did you enjoy hogs? Is it a fond memory or just something that happened here?
It's something that happened.
Okay. All right.
I swore we used to have to clean that thing out, scrape it out, you know, and then we got to where we're supposed to be washing it out every day. Oh, that really got tiring.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you were taking care of this?
Probably about 10 or 12.
10 or 12. Wow.
Yeah. And there was a farrowing house over there, and then a hog house, and then this one here. It's like 3. And the idea was, is you farrowed over there, then we moved them into the hog house, those half a dozen pens. And the pens were set up so that the bigger the hogs got, the bigger the pen was, and moved them this way, and then brought them over here and sorted them and hauled them out.
Sold them off.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that was really profitable at the time.
I think
Profitable
it was.
enough to make it happen
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah. My dad always said hogs were mortgage lifters.
Solid.
So, and that they were hard enough work that most people, you know, you had to be willing to work.
Right. They weren't easy.
Yeah, they weren't easy.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so Dad's here. He's working on patching up the holes we had in the back of the cattle shed. I'm going to move around to the inside and show you where we're keeping the hay. So I believe I showed you this here, this wall. So that's what it's going to look like patched up there on that side. We stacked our hay up here. That way we can just throw some in. We have a bigger stack somewhere else, but this will be for like day-to-day purposes. And then I've got these little things here to keep the goats out or goats and sheep. So hopefully it's tall enough. When this smaller gray one was laying on the ground, they got up on that concrete and just jumped over. So hopefully this is going to keep them out of where they're supposed to be out of. I'm realizing also that I have not come back and given you an update on the mineral feeder thing. So they've taken some more than others. So we finally have the honey extraction like I promised. We're trying to get the grease gun, food grade grease gun working, and then we're also cleaning out the extractor. So if I go up the steps here, take a look inside, we've got these different little sections that are set up. You put the honeycomb in there, it'll spin it, and it'll throw the honey on the outsides. It'll run out. It's strained twice through these metal mesh strainers, and then it's bottled up or put into 5-gallon containers that has a more controllable flow so that you can get a quart or a pint or a squeeze bottle every time. So we're just here we have one of the frames, and you can tell this white stuff at the top is the capped honey, and then the bottom part where it's darker brown is where they were brooding. And you can tell that that's where they were brooding because when they come out of their shell, they leave like a residue behind that makes it darker. So this is how we're gonna fit these in here. We're only gonna be able to fit 4 at a time, which is a lot less than what it was designed for, but we're using a different size frame. So it is the way it is. We've got our hives that we're taking from over here.
The scratcher's probably down in here, I think.
So we've got a few different frames in the different boxes and so on and so forth. So we'll show you once it starts turning. So it's kind of hard to see with Daddy-O being in the way, but we're just scraping the caps off the honeycomb, and then when the extractor spins it around, that's when it'll all come flying out. I'm gonna move around here, kind of show you. I don't think he's been able to get to these yet. It'll be a moment. Okay, so you can see this one, he's scratched open, and the honey is already starting to fall out on its own due to gravity. And we're just gonna speed up the process by spinning them around here in just a second.
Close it.
Closing them down.
You gotta plug it in. What's the matter?
The suspense is killing me.
Okay, I'm
I would start out slow and then I just keep going a little higher.
You can start.
Sometimes it gets kind of out of the round and then jump. It's kind of bad for the.
We lost the comb.
Yeah, it's bad for the comb.
We lost the comb.
Is that right?
First attempt at a honey press. So this is some of the comb that we were not able to get all the honey out of in the extractor. So we should be just pressing it down here, and the honey should be coming out here any moment.
not having
In
enough.
theory.
It says do not force it.
It's coming. There's not a lot of honey to this because it's mainly cappings.
As far down as
Cappings.
Mainly cappings. So we've tilted our extractor to get it to where it'll start flowing out. So here you can see some of the comb that fell apart. And then we've got 2 different levels of straining. And then if you can kind of see, it's collecting in the bottom of this 3-gallon bucket. And that's what we're going to use to transfer it to a 5-gallon bucket, which will then transfer it to quart jars.
Adios.
See you guys later.
Are you just taking a random video? Is it videoing anything?
I think so.
Dad, I just felt like this whole thing
Yep.
moved.
What happened?
I put some pressure on the whole thing, moved a little bit.
which scares me for that